morning! About a week ago the lake froze. And I thought I should start my quick change Elsa on ice dress. And then it got warm and rained for a week, so now I have a big puddle. But I'm gonna start on it anyways. There's that bald eagle out on the ice. I'm gonna start with making the top of the ice dress, and then figuring out how I want to pattern the skirt slash top of the other dress. But basically the layers are gonna be this bodice, and this skirt slash this top, and then the underwear bit. This pattern was my favorite when I was still making my competition dresses.
Let's give a warm leg class welcome to Sarah Deal.
If you want to see all the skating dresses I've made, check out this video. They all make an appearance. I modified the pattern a bit for this project, like the deep V waist doesn't work when the skirt is upside down, so now it's a straight line, but kept the sweetheart neckline. Also, this ice fabric is left over from a different Elsa project. I cut these same pieces from the sparkly overlay. I cut sleeves and the yoke from mesh leftovers from this Elsa project. I'm seeing a theme here. I pinned the opaque and sparkly sheer bodice pieces together. It's sparkly from the fibers, not actually glitter, because I don't want to contaminate my sewing room while I'm making my wedding dress. I pinned the yoke to the bodice. You will also see that I am using a walking foot, which helps with stretch fabric. Also a stretch needle and a zigzag stitch. I top stitched this to keep the seam allowance not visible. I stitched the shoulders together and added the sleeves. I can't remember if this was from the instructions. I may have read them in 2010, maybe? Anyway, I sewed the sleeve head on, then sewed the side and arm seams as one. Hi. The neckline needs 29 inches of elastic. I just have to put the elastic on the neckline and this top will be done. Clearly, that's not going to happen right now, because... I persevered through the dramatic dog to stitch the elastic to the neckline with a triple zigzag stitch, fold it over, and stitch again. Welcome to day 2 of actually working on this, not including the days I spent drafting. The last bit of fabric came in today. It is the gold trim for the coronation bodice. I guess I have all the fabric and I can get started on actually making it. I started cutting the coronation dress while watching Annabelle and Ben's antics. She does fun videos, go check her out. The bodice pieces look a bit weird, but I promise they work out in the end. Trying to get one pattern that is both a bodice and a skirt was interesting. I made the ice skirt pieces by tracing the coronation bodice, since they will end up being one piece. The coronation bodice has gold trim, so I wanted to match those lines exactly and for it to be 1 inch thick. I cut that shape again from Heat and Bond, a heat-activated adhesive. Basically, you iron one side to the fabric, ideally with the press cloth, peel off the paper backing, and iron the other fabric to the other side. It's a little hard to see here, for some reason, but I have all of the skirts cut. There's going to be 3 layers. We have the coronation. We have the coronation one, and we have the light blue base, and then the sparkly frozen one. So I'm going to assemble all of these skirts individually, making sure that the seam is on the correct side. I serged all of the skirt seams because it was easy and fast and stretches. Time for the bottom! This is the original pattern, but with matching the flat waist seam. Also, I wanted to make it turquoise, but that coronation spandex was expensive, so we're using leftover fabric. I serged these granny panties together. I added elastic to the leg holes, just like I did the neck. I have all of the pieces here except for the skirt for the coronation dress, so I guess that's what I'm going to be working on today. After that I have to wait for the heat transfer vinyl to come in, so it might be a while. Oh, and also the gloves. I forgot about that. They're kind of important. I cut out 2 of the back skirt piece for the front skirt because I know it will hide under the second skirt slash first bodice. Is this getting confusing? Well, instead of making the gloves, I decided to trace my beloved rubber ducky pajama pants, which are about to die, and make 3 new pairs. Okay, today I'm actually gonna make some gloves, and my vinyl arrived. Hooray! This is the easiest way to make gloves, but not the best way. Trace around your arm and your hand, but don't cut it out yet. The seam allowance will be too small. Just pin the layers down so they don't shift. Stitch on your trace line. I'm using the lightning bolt stitch because it's stretchy but not as wide as a zigzag. And now cut a tiny seam allowance. I have webbed fingers! Just kidding, I trimmed off the rest. Hey Emmie, what do you think? Oh, it's acceptable? Okay. It's cricket time! I sliced between each motif so it could curve with the skirt. This is heat transfer vinyl, so it needs some heat. The Teflon sheet prevents the fabric from melting. There are 3 different colors in this design, so I layered them on. Ta-da! Lots of sparkles. I did the same for the front. I drew these designs in Illustrator, and sometimes they appear in my blog, so you may want to go check that out. I did actually wait for it to cool to a burn-free temperature before peeling it. It was just boring, so I cut it out for you. Mostly. Ow. Ta-da! That is not a dog bed. That's my skirt. The skirt is lovely and sparkly. And this should be the cape fabric. Yay! You can't tell, I'm really going for sparkly here. This is my 3rd digitized embroidery design. I'm going for inspired by Frozen, not screen accurate. While stitching that out, I set about bonding the coronation bodice and the ice skirt. I used hem tape, which is pre-cut heat and bond, and sandwiched that between the layers. Moisture and a press cloth and bam! Bonded. These are now fused to be one piece, so I really need to bedazzle the top before I can assemble it. Hi! It is time to bedazzle the bodice. Oh no. Really? To bedazzling! I got out a tube of E6000 with a tiny nozzle and went outside because E6000 is pretty toxic but effective. And fun fact, I never actually bedazzled any of my competition dresses. I either used glittery fabric or was going for a simple look. I squeezed glue where I wanted a stone and placed one there. Times like 1,000. I did this on the neckline too until the E6000 exploded. That was not how that was supposed to go, so I grabbed Plan B. I kept going with my backup glue until my phone died and I didn't notice. Ta-da! I think I'm gonna do a little bit more and then go inside because the sun is setting and it's winter. I'm trying to finish this half so that tomorrow I can flip it over and do the other side. So I'm gonna finish the front today. This is approximately where this is gonna go. I'm gonna decorate this area. Since I wasn't using E6000 anymore, I could do this inside. All these sparkles. I love it. It started snowing. Hooray! Anyway, so this has to dry for 24 hours, or at least a couple hours before I can flip it over, so I'm gonna go do something else now. That something else was take Em to the park in a hailstorm. Dogs are weird. It's been about a week since I've done anything on this costume because the weather has been really warm. and we got a snowstorm. So there was 0 chance of the ice forming, and I just got really discouraged. So instead I made Emmie a popcorn dog bed. I got dressed this morning with the appropriate shirt, and I'm going to finish that pretty much just one remaining seam on the whole dress and we'll be done. I ended up recutting the ice skirt layer to be much longer. I pinned the underwear into the mini skirt, but there are 3 different skirts, so this section may get a bit confusing. I pinned the skirt to the other skirt with the same colors facing, but notice how the overlap is on the wrong side because I did not. I pinned the other skirt to the other bodice, also getting the overlap wrong. I think I'm gonna baste this and then sew them together because that would be a lot easier than trying to, I think it's like 4 layers, so it'd be 6 layers, so that'd be a lot. Stitching the skirt to the other skirt here. I forgot to put my walking foot back on, but I really don't want to bother. It's a really good thing that I started with basting because this overlap is backwards, and this one is also backwards, although I haven't sewn it yet, so I had to get out the seam ripper a little bit, but it's fine. I fixed it, and we keep going now. Stitching the other skirt here. With the overlaps finally on the right sides, I clipped all the skirts together. That would be the underwear, skirt, other skirt, other skirt, and the bodice. Just want to double check this. Time for the final dress assembly seam. I decided that first skirt was just too short to be able to move in, and since that is what ice skating is, I added a gold panel. And now it's just missing one thing, the cape. I cut it to be as long as the other skirt, and fussy cut the bottom edge, being careful not to cut through the stitching. I serged the top edge and did a double fold hem on the sides. I pleated the top edge to fit across the back, and pinned it with the cape over the head to cover the seam. I zigzagged this in place. Cape is attached, so all I have left to do is a little bit of gluing, mostly of the snowflake. The next time you're gonna see this, hopefully will be soon and out on the ice. And then, a few days later, cold never bothered me anyway. One of my neighbors is out watching. I feel very silly. She came over to say how beautiful I looked and if I could give her daughter some skating lessons. I said yes. This is what resetting the costume looks like. That was really cold. If you like this video, you should check out my full Elsa costume video here. Look at this knot.